No.
Good morning, everybody. It's Matt and Dyan.
I was busy.
I'm so sorry I caught you singing. Just come out of a shower. I have to race off.
Spying on me, and he brings out the camera and looks at the side. Like, of course.
Caught you
Of
in a very
course.
raw and rare moment. Well, not so much rare.
I'm about to do Kermit the Frog Rainbow Connection.
Indeed. Well, your
next.
audience can hold on for
Then
that. A bit of a
probably
cappella.
singing in the rain.
Well, I hope it doesn't rain, actually. I'm trying to avoid that. Now, I'm racing out the door. I have to take some pathology down to the local collection. Oh, it's a biohazard.
It's a biological hazard.
You're a biohazard.
Where's your hazmat suit?
Yeah, I should probably need one of those. So, got the form. We've done the
You done what?
MSU, MCNS this morning.
I peed in a cup.
She peed in a cup, which is pretty good coordination for her at the very best of times.
Woohoo!
Now, I wanted to talk briefly about
Here's
that
the star.
for the moment. What, do you want a star? I'll give you a star.
I should get a gold star.
You should get a gold star. Scratch and sniff, even better still.
Yeah.
This is unusual because normally we have a domiciliary service. A domiciliary means a people in an agency that comes to your home to provide pathology collection. Now, we were using Saturn Pathology here in Perth as a domiciliary for a period of time. But there's been changes afoot. There's things that have been happening. A little while ago, and I guess our early indicators, we had some restrictions put into place where we could only do up to 3 tests.
And it was the government, wasn't it?
At
It
a
wasn't
time.
actually.
It was the Medicare, it's the Australian government, and it's about the
It wasn't their fault, it was the government.
Now, they had to make modifications where they could say, look, you can only do 3 tests at a time, and we'll have to keep coming out and and out and out. Now,
Yes.
here's the irony of this.
Yeah.
For Dyan,
Who
who's
needs
got
it the
a
most?
complex healthcare condition because of her genetic condition, 22q11.2 deletion
I
syndrome,
need it more.
it's quite common because she's under 24 different specialists that they all want a piece of her.
Test
You know,
of many
radiology,
different things.
pathology, you know how it
No, but even a
goes.
blood test, it's never 3 things.
No.
Ever.
And quite common, it's actually
Ever.
probably 9 or 12 things.
Yes.
Now, if you had a restriction of 3 things at a time, that person would have to
I
come
don't
out
want a needle every day.
4
That's not
days in a row
unnecessary.
consecutively, and then they have to do the labs, they have to do the test collections, and they've got to send off the results. We've got to get them to the doctor, we've got to have conversations, we've got to make changes. And of course, with that
So well done, Medicare, for
staggering,
making it inaccessible for people the
Now,
most sick.
here's it's got even
Well
worse.
done.
This week, I found out when I made a booking to do this, that they're charging even just to turn up now. And to get a courier just to collect the sample will be $40, or if you've got a pension care card, it'll be $18. And to turn up just to do a blood draw or anything else would also be $40, or again, if you've got a pension care card,
To turn up
$18.
to this facility.
No, just to turn up here
Oh,
at home.
yeah.
So we no longer, because of the affordability, you can imagine sometimes it's 2 or 3 times in a
Can't
week
even afford my meds at
where
full.
Dyan has to have a domiciliary
capacity.
come. Now, the
This
flip of
is
this
silly.
is a little bit more than just silly. It's actually dangerous, risky,
Yeah.
catastrophic, potentially.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to briefly explain why. First and foremost, we have already had to cut back on the number of
can't go to
tests
hospital.
that Dyan's GP,
should
primary
try to
care
go to
physician,
hospital.
wants on a regular basis because
Hey,
he needs to
hospital.
monitor what's actually happening.
What are you going to do about it?
The test levels. Now, they might be for things like the seizure medications, they might be to do with her iron, or a whole range of other things that she's incredibly
Vitamin
deficient.
D,
D3, all the Bs,
magnesium.
magnesium,
But
potassium,
even
zinc,
checking for
whatever.
malnutrition
Bingo.
and checking for my infections.
Exactly, and you've got multiple
Immune
infections
system,
going on. So
function, everything.
you can imagine that there's a whole range of people that need to look at endocrinology, need to have a look at certain tests, thyroid functions and whatever else. Gastroenterology needs to look at what's happening with your gut health, you know, your, what do you call them,
That's why I get
urologist
the
and infectious
malnutrition
disease, and all
pop-up.
those people need to see what's happening with infections. So you're right. But now
And
we've
in a
been
timely manner.
reduced
In a timely manner.
how we can actually do this. And now with the cost, this is becoming ridiculous. You know, when we go to the clinic, again, Dyan's got 24 different specialists. Every time we have to go to the hospital for the clinic, it's car parking at least $9 that go each and every time. Then it's now, do I pay $18 every single time that we get a pathologist to come out, a phlebotomist, by the way, that's what their name is, these ones that come out. Interesting name, isn't it? A phlebotomist. To come out and
Sounds
do
like
the
they deal with
collection.
bottoms.
Or phlegm, either which way, it's still yucky and grossy. But, or, here's the other flip side why it's dangerous.
They deserve a better name.
Not only are we,
They're very nice people.
I guess, restricting medical care and access, the
the
safe
poor.
monitoring,
For the poor.
and particularly for those
the
who are more
poor.
complex,
For the
complicated
poor.
conditions,
For
it
adults.
does actually become a lot more complex. But here's the other part of this. I have to step out of the environment. I have to leave Dyan alone, who needs to be 24/7, fully supervised
But
and
the
monitored.
NGS has done
Or
nothing yet.
I have to drag her with me just to keep going. Now, even to get a test now, this is really a struggle because when we go, you can't get a booking to say, right, I'm going to come in at 9:30 and here's your booking for a blood test. No, you have to rock up. It's a cattle call. Most people come first thing in the morning because they've been fasting overnight. And you're coming into an environment where there's people who's actually sick, which is what you expect, right? Because
and I can't go in that environment.
And your immune system is already compromised, which is why we do this in a home environment. So all of these things are exacerbating and creating risk. Either A, I'm leaving Dyan alone where she's at risk of cardiovascular, respiratory, seizures, dystonia, you name it.
Just turning so mean over money. You're greedy.
It's all about greed and money.
Greed.
Yeah.
Okay? We pay extra taxes for Medicare government. It's not your money that you're giving us money. Fuck off.
Exactly.
We gave you that money to manage for us Australians to get health care.
The doctor needs this information.
The most vulnerable cannot get a test at home anymore.
They can't.
Shame on you.
And they can't afford it. This is the problem with healthcare, particularly for pensioners, those who are below the poverty line, those who have to make decisions of, do I get healthy food? Do I pay for the medications at the pharmacy? Now, even if you're under the pharmacy beneficial PBS
I've hit that
system,
and I still can't afford my medicines.
You've hit threshold a long time ago.
Still can't afford my medicines.
But there's a lot of medications that are outside of the PBS. They might be compounded, or they're not seen by the government as ones that they'll be supported by the PBS system. So we have to make choices a lot of the time about what tests, what medications, what food we put on the table.
When you're dealing with adults, even as complex medically as me, okay, they give it to the GP because it's cheaper for them to be managed by the GP.
Yeah.
Okay, so they give you the medicine. But because of that, there is a difference between putting on the script pad of the specialist to the script pad of the GP. And they know it, but they don't care.
Absolutely, and there is a huge range of difference to that as well.
Discrimination against socioeconomic status. And I'll tell you right now, through APRA, they are bound to know your socioeconomic status and make sure that you are getting equal access and care as anybody else.
Correct.
And you're failing that APRA and you're letting the government Medicare do this, and you're putting people at risk. You've got the elderly affected by this. You've got very sick people like me affected by this.
Absolutely. People on the disability support pension.
This is not okay.
So I am concerned. Look, and these are things I can't skip. We need to target the specific specimens to be able to work out what targeted medications that Dyan needs. She's now becoming, unfortunately, resistant to certain types of antibiotics. Not surprising, because
of my childhood,
her condition has been hit with so many antibiotics, and she's already got a compromised immune system, neutropenic. These are the risks that we do. So I don't know the answer to this question. I'm just posing this as a, here's what we do. This is part of our channel to obviously create awareness, to advocate the issues. And we need to actually make a stand, because it's not just, you know, a general person might go, oh, look, I've got to go to work. I've got a sniffle. Look, I can bring up a on-call doc. Okay, great. That person might be able to give them a script. Or they might be able to pop into a pharmacy and just get an over-the-counter medication. Dyan is complicated. 24 different specialists. No coordinated care. And there's no specialist for her particular condition, 22Q across for adults in Australia.
There's people that might need this as a once-off. So, for example, they might be going through COVID and they're told to stay home and they'll send someone out. You know, that, sure, we would pay in the same situation, even as on struggle shoes what we are. I mean, we're finding food. It's just increased by $200 a fortnight we have to spend in food since the last year and a half.
So cost of living across the board.
So the cost of living is higher. And also, I'd pay it as a once-off, but unfortunately, patients like me, it's not a once-off.
No.
Okay, and I don't understand why your diagnosis should be the reason why I'm covered, for example, because the end of the day, even my geneticist would say that is ridiculous. Like, you've got
and there
so
is a key point of difference for patients
would not be agreed with by
complex care needs. So many different specialists that are around. They have their own individualized tests. And with a condition like Dyan's, where there's 185 clinical different symptoms, it's a very broad spectrum. Every part of her body, 3 million DNA building blocks are missing, 30 to 50 genes. A lot of things have to be checked to just manage, to stabilize, to keep us safe, so that we don't have recurring dystonia and seizures and respiratory, blah, blah, blah.
This infection was causing me chest pain.
Chest pain?
You saw
You're
the
having
stress
fevers,
on my body, the oxygen drops,
38 degrees
the heart
every day
rate
for 2
spikes.
months.
There was all these things going on from a UTI,
and increased seizures. Sorry. It's just increasing.
I'm just saying, compared to a normal person, it is out of control. And so this test that is getting done now is essential. This UTI, just like an elderly person, we can die, 22 cures can die in our middle age very easily. We're very fragile, just like an 80-year-old.
Correct.
So this is disgusting that my genetic syndrome is not known. The ignorance is bliss, isn't it, medical system? Yeah, it's bliss. Not for long.
Now, that's on
not
top
for
of,
long,
and I'm going to also point
until
this
I'm
out,
alive. It's
just
not
for the
gonna be
moment,
long.
there's a lot of issues with WA where we live. Western
keep
Australia
screaming.
and Perth, our health system. The health minister has been hit hard by the opposition in Parliament almost on every day. There is ramping with ambulances are just continuing to increase. So people are waiting longer to be seen in emergency. The ambulances are taking longer to get out to the patients.
But also, can I
They've
tell
also,
you
just
something
2 moments, there's
about
things happening in the
ambulances?
hospitals as well. We have got lead levels that are well above acceptable levels in Australia in our hospitals. We've got, unfortunately, Legionnaires levels.
Oh, great.
Yep, in one of the major Perth hospitals now, which have been hidden masked for the last 2.5 years that have been identified. And those levels, okay, it hasn't caused an outbreak, but the levels and the protocols are in place for a reason. Okay, you got hospitals that have been held
So
together
I
by
was
sticky
there.
tape.
I was there.
Yeah, there's
When it was
there's
there.
so much susceptibility. It's just becoming
Wow.
stupid. So a lot of these things
Once
are happening.
again,
The health system,
don't
health
care who you
department
kill,
is
do you?
scrambling, and I'm glad the opposition is keeping them away.
Wow.
But this is the system that we're unfortunately doing. What were you saying about ambulances before we wrap up, man?
I just want to say that ambulances is that they are turning into a toxic environment now, just like the hospitals.
Yeah, there is a knock-on effect.
And I think that that's a really sad thing. Is because of the ramping, they are getting more complacent because it's like, oh, well, all these people aren't really that urgent because no one's treating them urgent. So you've got all these elderly and you've got people like me and, you know, it's like they're just getting complacent, guys. Yeah. And I'm just warning people because you could be a once-off person. And I've had a long chat with a lot of people that have had a once-off incident in a public hospital and have said to me, I so get you. And it's like,
just the one time
I'm
seeing
sorry
it.
you went through that. I do tell people for this very reason, if you can have private, you need to get private.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, the ambulance officers have, and this is a shout out to them, to the good ones.
Yeah,
I
really
love
hard.
you. You
Absolutely.
have made my life so much less traumatic.
It's the first
but to
line
the
of
ones
defense.
who are just laissez-faire, it's just a job, you guys need to pull your socks up and cut the crap out. Okay, and stop ignoring those elderly people in those beds. Shame on you. Stop standing around talking about your goddamn holiday and go and see to your patient who's lying alone. And make sure that they're doing well with all of their stats because there's no equipment on them. They're very elderly and I don't like seeing that. And I've seen that in my hospital, about 10 elderly people being ignored while they socialise. Like high school, I saw sexual harassment, I saw inappropriate language. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's not the environment for
That
us.
St. John's is bullshit.
Now, you're talking about elderly, and I also got to point out the other thing, apart from having obviously all these things wrong with the waters and the other systems in these hospitals, we've also got the fact that there are a lot of elderly patients who are being
maybe they've been drinking the water.
Who are being held in. Well, the nurses and the doctors are also very concerned. Okay, this is what they use to wash their hands, to drink from, to whatever else. Now, it's not affecting all systems and all hospitals, but the fact that it even exists, it's like Russian roulette. You don't know. But what I was saying about the aged care, there is a lot of elderly patients who have not got the ability to be able to be discharged from hospital safely into the community, into appropriate housing solutions. They don't have those at the moment. There are a lot of people with disabilities who are also just sitting, literally living and rotting almost in hospitals because there's not enough appropriate disability housing available for them to be discharged out into the community safely, not just with the accommodation needs, but also with the appropriate supports in place, which, hey, we know firsthand, high intensity support needs access to the appropriate equipment. Otherwise, it becomes a revolving door back into the ED environment. And that's just detrimental. Look, I've got to race down to this.
You know what, hospitals? I think you need to have a chat to Medicare because
I don't know what to do anymore.
This is going to probably cause me more ED presentations.
Yep.
And you're going to have to suck it up and you're going to have to not blame me. You're going to have to speak to the government about your Medicare rules.
Exactly.
Okay? Because I've had enough, and so has my GP, of your shit not doing any of the work. Okay? Do some work. Stop just getting your salary and going, I'm entitled. You've got to work.
It's a broken system.
You've got to earn your merits. You've got to earn your reputation. You've got to earn the fact that you get respect. You don't just get given it. especially when you start everything with an attitude.
Yeah, the irony.
And I think we've seen that
we
even
have.
in the case with Erin Patterson.
I get the Australian mushroom killer.
She's a murderer.
Yep.
Amen. But that doctor, I agree.
Yeah.
And I saw the nurse not let her out. If she was innocent back then, this was before they found her guilty. Presumed innocent before guilty. Now look, she's guilty. I get it now. But you still, there was a doctor that blocked the button to press to get out of the hospital. You are not the police.
No.
You are not a psychiatrist.
No.
You are not the courts. Stop
stay in your lane, basically.
God.
Yeah.
Stay in your bloody lane.
There's been a lot of restrictions being put on that doctor by APRA today, I've noticed. So that's,
I think that's
of interest
unprofessional
in that regard. Guys, big thumbs up of encouragement. Like the video. If you've got comments, questions, ideas, and suggestions of your own experiences, whether it's here in Perth, whether it's in Australia, or even in your own country, about pathology, radiology, access.
Yeah.
If it's
if
a petition,
you see a petition,
sign.
let us know. Yeah. Sign yourselves, because any of you could end up in this position. You might already be in this position.
Absolutely.
But the fact is, this is not okay for people like, and let me know what category you might be in. I am disabled and poor.
Yep.
I cannot afford the system of this anymore.
You're stuck on the health system.
And yet I desperately need the system of this. I can't even make it to my doctor appointments.
Nope. It's ridiculous. Guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please share our channel far and wide, and we'll see you in another episode real soon.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? When some choose to be rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and